This time on MegaTruckers.
Don't ever say Australians.
Two drivers go to war.
Bro, stop going on about Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi, bro. Get over it.
And threaten to derail a monster move.
I think he's a bit dropped at birth, to be honest, but
He's a bit of a sook. He'll harden up.
Boss Jon lays down the law
If Wayne and Keith can't get on, one of them has to go.
and hopes an old truck can save the day.
Jon's brought the deadline forward, just trying to get everything done that he wants done to his standard. We put a lot of effort and time into this thing, so if he gets here and he's not happy, we're not going to be very impressed.
This is a love story, a romance between a man and his trucks.
Some people love their cars, some people love boats, some people love highfalutin women. I just love my trucks. And my wife, of course. Loving trucks has cost a lot of people a lot of money, a lot of marriages. You can go through 20 different marriages and still walk out and go touch your truck. It's just one of those things, it's a disease.
Boss Jon Kelly's passion goes beyond his working fleet. He also has a multi-million-dollar collection of vintage trucks, purely for show.
My wife, Joanne, says, "What are you doing, Jon? Collecting dust collectors." And I said, "Oh, that's exactly what I'm doing." We've got the Lone Ranger, which is a 1989 Mack Superliner. Now, that's one of the very first trucks I bought. We've got Mini-Me. That was modelled off our big award-winning Mack Titan called Gangster's Paradise. And then we've got the big 359 Peterbilt, the Majestic. I ventured halfway across the world to find that truck. That truck is the jewel of the Nile. Finally, we've got the Gold Digger. That's got a bit of a soft spot in my heart, that truck. I remember going to Mack Trucks with my grandfather, and it was sitting there just shining its head off. The dust collectors don't go out on jobs. They only go to truck shows to look cool.
But with business booming, Boss Jon may soon be forced to change his tune. Drivers come from far and wide, hoping to get their hands on one of these superstar rigs.
when I first come over from NZ, a friend brought me up here and showed me them. And I thought, yeah, these things are the deal. That's just how I knew I wanted to come and drive for Jon Kelly.
For the past 10 months, driver Wayne has been slogging away on Jon Kelly's MegaTrucker training ground.
It's not often that a worker will come and hound you, and I'm talking hound you, saying, Jon, when can I get off these bloody coal wagons? They're driving me mad. I know I've got to prove myself, but I want to get out and do some big jobs.
Hello?
Yeah, Wayne, can you come and see me, please?
Might have done something wrong, who knows?
Come for a walk. What do you reckon about Bandit 4, mate?
Bit of gear.
As of 3 minutes ago, it's yours.
Rainbow. Thank you, bud.
You scratch it, own it.
I'll look after it like it's mine, mate.
Wayne is now the proud driver of Chrome Monster Bandit 4. His promotion, a reward for proving himself hauling coal wagons.
He's not exactly anywhere near the A team at the moment. He's gone from the Z team probably to a solid D, but that's progression.
I've always wanted this truck. I've asked him for a while and he kind of shut me down and said, don't be stupid.
Designed and built to tackle the tough Australian terrain, this Kenworth T908 is match-made for mega-trucking. An inline six-cylinder engine pumps out 620 horsepower. Even though it was new when he bought it, Jon splashed $100,000 on bling. It makes the mighty Bandit 4 one of the most expensive in the fleet.
A few raised eyebrows on why Wayne's got that new truck, so he better not put 1 foot wrong and stuff this up.
Wayne's first job in Bandit 4 will be one to remember. He'll be part of a mega convoy, hauling a giant excavator in 4 parts.
The machine together is just under 400 tonnes, so it's a very, very big machine.
But his toughest challenge might be the man in charge.
Keith Jones recently been promoted to a platform operator. Keith's a very, very passionate person, very passionate operator. We're sending Wayne up there as well. I know there's always a bit of friction between Wayne and Keith.
I don't really think he's a heavy haulage operator. It's not all about the bling.
So So we've got EX3600 to move, 400 tonne, 8 789 cat dump trucks, 6 D11Ts, and then there's 4 road trains out of Toowoomba to go to Coppabella.
Righto. So cancel the holidays for June?
Just book yourself out for the next 20 years.
Boss Jon Kelly is so busy, he's run out of trucks. He does have this old Mack V8 value liner. 4 weeks ago, he commissioned a $70,000 makeover. But this classic won't be ready for another few days. So Jon's about to break a golden rule for an urgent job.
When the boys from operations come down and say, listen, we've got a bit of a jam, we're short a truck on the TBM move, and we need something with a big rating that's going to do the job, I thought, well, have I got a truck for you?
In 1987, you couldn't buy a bigger truck than this Mack Superliner. With 500 horsepower and a 16.4 litre V8 engine, it can pull 200 tonnes. It's such an iconic truck. When Jon dropped the cool 50 grand restoring it, he kept the original gold colour scheme.
There are occasions when we're off the charts busy and we have to drag the dust collectors out of the shed and onto the street. And this occasion with the gold digger is one of those occasions. The plans were sort of flicked into motion there. The gold digger was reborn.
Putting an old truck in the firing line is a big risk.
My concern is it going to be okay? Is it going to survive? Are we going to be broken down on the side of the road for 6 hours trying to fix a simple issue because the truck hasn't been driven in such a long time?
6 a.m. on the excavator move, and the friction Boss Jon predicted is about to erupt.
When I heard Wayne was on the job, I thought this is a bit of extra work for the other boys because Wayne doesn't like to get his hands too dirty.
On this job, Keith is Wayne's boss.
Keith. I've had a few issues with Keith.
Unless you're prepared to get your hands dirty, you might as well just go run up and down the highway and cart a fridge van.
I really think he must have just been a schoolyard bully. I think he's one of those fellas that would go and steal your lunch, pick on you.
Probably not a bully, I just speak honestly. And some people don't like the honest truth. If someone's going to stand around and do nothing and they're getting paid the same money as us, well, of course I'm going to say something to them.
Also on this job are veteran drivers Fredo and Keith's dad, Bevan. All 4 must pull together if they're to deliver a giant excavator 700 kilometres to a mine site.
You're working in remote Western Queensland where the roads are 5.5, 6 metres wide. You're nearly 8 metres wide. We've got narrow bridges to go across with minimal clearance. We've got deadlines to meet. There's 101 things that can go wrong in this move.
It'll be a tough job, not helped by a war of words.
Wayne started bagging Australians on that morning and I sort of got my back up because, you know, Australia's my home country and I love Australia with a passion.
Got to come over here and help these Aussies do the job, you know? If it wasn't for, if they weren't doing the job, probably wouldn't have to come over. It's quite simple, isn't it?
On the job, there's probably a host of advice I give to Wayne. You shut your mouth and do as you're told.
Some Aussies do have a problem with Kiwis coming over here, taking their jobs, taking their money, taking their women.
Don't ever say Australians.
Bro, stop going on about Kiwi. I'm a Kiwi, bro. Get over it. Deal with it.
Bagging Australia to probably the most patriotic Australian in Keith, who's probably about 200 kilos in the shade, and that would tear you limb from limb without a blink of an eye.
Wayne and I can't even get out of the yard without having an argument. It's going to be a long f***ing 3 days.
Boss Jon starts a trip down memory lane in one of his prized dust collectors, the gold digger.
Yep, all right, we'll just be on channel 11.
Yep.
Yep, cool.
He'll be hauling part of a gigantic tunnel boring machine. It's a $2 million contract split into 140 mega moves.
This is the maiden voyage for the gold digger, which is a bit nerving. Is it going to be okay? Is it going to survive?
A hefty 80 tonnes sits on the back of this grand old girl.
Even on moving something this large on a move like this tonight, to put even one of the modern trucks to the test. She plays a sweet tune, this old truck, that's for sure. You can't buy that sound.
I know. Can't be driving properly because I can't hear it.
You just be quiet up there, all right? Everyone loves a V8. My theory is if you put a muffler on a V8, you're a sook.
Ahead is a 68-kilometre journey to a construction site.
It's amazing, 24 years later, we're belting on down the highway here, and it's still making its living, you know. That's pretty cool.
Back in the yard, the battle of the Tasman between drivers Wayne and Keith explodes.
He's always had a little bit of a niggle with Kiwis and Aussies, and I suppose after a while you just get sick and tired of it.
Don't bag Australia.
Bro, don't bag New Zealand.
Well, it sucks.
Bro, and this way, hey? Oh, stop bagging New
It's so
Zealand, bro.
great. How come there's so many of you here? It's so great.
If you don't like it, you can just off back to New Zealand.
Don't bag the country to speak New Zealand.
Yeah, bro.
Don't bag the country to speak
Bro,
New Zealand.
if you want to do it, oi, if you can dish it, take it, Pugsley. Take it.
Like, if it did come to a blue at the end of the day,
Bro, don't
you'd want to make the first one a good one and then run like shit for the second one.
Sort of pointing fingers and yelling at each other, and I thought, yeah, this is going to be a lovely old trip.
It's hard to believe these drivers will spend the next 3 days on the road together.
It's f***ing terrible. We just had a verbal argument. He said he was wanting to knock my head off my shoulders, so I told him to go ahead.
He's over here working our jobs, getting our money, and then bagging Australians at the same time. Well, you don't like it. Go back where you come from, as far as I'm concerned.
I guess we dropped at birth, to be honest, but, well, you know, we can't do anything about it. We're here to stay. I'm not going home because of Pugsley.
He's a bit of a sook. He'll harden up a bit.
Best way to sort it out is just on the side of the road somewhere to go. An argument in the morning was about me turning up in jandals to work before I put my boots on. And he had an issue that I called them jandals and I had to call them thongs because I was an Aussie, so as far as I'm concerned, I'm a Kiwi, and if I want to call the f***ing things jandals, I will.
The drivers' fight threatens to derail a giant excavator move.
As far as I'm concerned, they can leave their 2-year-old antics in the sandpit where it belongs because they need to act their age, not their shoe size. If Wayne and Keith can't get on, one of them has to go.
Boss Jon Kelly has dusted off one of his prize show trucks. It's the gold digger's first job in more than 20 years, and John is like a nervous new parent.
So we're just going to pull up here and check all the chains, check the load. Been a virgin trip for the truck as well. We'll get out and sort of just have a look around the engine and the diffs and the gearbox, make sure there's no oil leaks or anything that sticks out, because when something goes wrong, it's a bit too late. When I was younger, I saw that actual truck in the showroom at Mack Trucks looking $1 million and never thought in my wildest dreams that it'd be in the HHA stable. Every time I look at that truck, I think about my childhood and my grandfather, and it's a pretty special truck.
But tonight, there's just one thing likely to rain on John's parade.
It's killing me, you know. You can't go out on your first virgin run and have dirty chrome rims. Not for the first run anyway.
700 kilometres north, and the MegaTruckers load the giant excavator in 4 parts. Weighing 360 tonnes, it's 8 metres wide and 5 metres high.
Fred and I got the 2 bigger pieces on, Dad and Wayne got the 2 smaller pieces on.
The warring drivers have calmed down, but Keith has a bigger worry on his first supervisor job. Boss John breathing down his neck.
John expects you to perform and puts a lot of pressure on you at times.
Keith and I have had words on a few levels in the past, but his heart and soul's in the job.
John and I probably have a love-hate relationship. Some days I just want to murder him, punch his lights out, then other days he's not too bad.
The MegaTruckers are keen to get going, but they can't move until the police sign off. And that takes time. Perhaps a little flirting will speed things up.
My proper name's Ian.
What's your truck name?
But everybody calls me Freddo.
Oh, is it really?
Yeah, like in the frog.
I don't need supervision, Jared. Go away.
I just want to ask her a question, please.
Yeah, no, you don't want to ask her any questions. He probably wants your phone number or something.
10-4, mate, we're all good.
Paperwork done, this convoy can finally hit the road.
All we've got to do now is get this from here to the other end safely. We've got a few complications, a few bridge crossings and things like that, but it should be a full-on day.
The challenge is to haul an 8-metre wide load on roads that are only 6 metres wide.
You've got to be on the ball 100% all of the time. Otherwise, if you lose your concentration for a split second, that's when accidents can happen. You hit things, hit cars.
In Brisbane, John and the gold digger are moments from glory.
It was one of those nights where everything went off without a hitch. That truck was operating like a Swiss clock. It was just perfect. I'll always remember that first delivery.
He looked after his trucks. Well, you boys do, I should say.
That's it. The first guy that came up to me just goes, Jesus, this Jon Kelly bloke's got some nice gear, hasn't he? I've gone, oh yeah. He goes, oh, what's he like to work for? I said, he's a prick. He goes, oh yeah. He goes, how you going? He goes, I'm Tim. Oh yeah, how you going? I'm Jon Kelly. And he nearly shit himself. This is the most important part of the job, mate, getting paid.
Gee whiz, you got to pay for the paint job somewhere.
Finally, we're converting a dust collector into a money earner, so it's good times.
This old truck has put in a faultless performance. Job done. But Boss John's trip down memory lane stirs the emotions.
Money can't buy the feeling of reliving your childhood. There's no way in the world that truck's going to get put away. It sparked a lot of good memories, and that's pretty rare. So it'll be out on future jobs for sure.
On the excavator move, the MegaTrucker convoy is about to grind to a halt.
Lead pilot will call out like the narrow bridge and we'll generally come to a stop. We get out and assess whether anything's been changed on the bridge crossings, you know, whether they put any new barriers or anything like that.
The tracks are too wide for the bridge.
The only way to get across is to lift one track and just go straight over the side of it. Took the side out of the bridge, it'd be complete chaos. You'd block the whole beef road, all the mining traffic, everything for hours.
The trailers can be lifted, but only by centimetres. Old hand Fredo raises one side, then everyone hopes like hell it's enough to clear the guardrail.
It causes a bit of a delay in the job, but only one way to get through, mate, that's the only way to do it. No matter how much work goes into it, you know, there's always that thought in the back of your head, if you do clip the bridge or hit the bridge, it's going to be one hell of a up.
Yeah, keep going down on there.
You'd block the whole beef road, all the mining traffic, everything for hours, and it'd be just complete drama.
With one side jacked up, Fredo makes it with just centimetres to spare. But it's a 45-minute delay.
It's a hell of a relief. They got through clear, nothing's been hit, nothing's been damaged. We're on our way again.
But 10 kilometres down the road, it's another setback, a flat tyre.
This is Keith's first trip as a supervisor, and things aren't quite going to plan. Is it that inside one with the wall chopped out of it?
We've only got about 8 hours of daylight left to get this load there. The last thing we needed was a flat tyre, but shit happens. We've got to get on with it now, make them all.
It's Keith's trailer, but Fredo changes the tyre.
You have a look at the size of Keith. He's a wheel chock, and I'm a tyre changer. He probably won't like me saying that.
With 140 tonnes sitting on the trailer, you're sitting under there, of course, it's always in the back of your mind. So you get the job done as quick as you can, put the wheel nuts back on and get out of there.
He's a big, strong bloke, you know what they say about them? Can lift heavy things, but yeah, not real smart.
While the tyre is changed, Wayne gets some fatherly advice in his war of words with Keith.
You got to just be able to have that disagreement and move on.
Yeah, I think it's just an Aussie Kiwi thing, you know? It's never going to stop. Very, very confused. Bevan's a really nice guy, so maybe Keith was adopted. I do think Australia is a 10 times better place than New Zealand, but I would never tell him that.
In Brisbane, Boss John is on his way to see his vintage Mack after its $70,000 makeover. Desperate for another working truck, John gave the restorers just 4 weeks to revamp the old Mack.
It's looking pretty rough under there, but to get it up to our sort of standard, it's going to take a fair bit of work.
It's the reason why it's here.
He's got to be joking. This is a piece of shit.
You know, I've dedicated this truck to my late grandfather, who was a massive inspiration in my life. Old Frank was an absolute legend of the highway, and I want to make sure that this truck is a fitting tribute.
He's now 30 minutes away from seeing whether they've delivered.
Nick, where are you up to now?
The mud flaps on the front here left to go. The passenger seat, it's just got to go in. We've got the left-hand exhaust shroud. The hubcaps, nut covers.
Yep, probably got about half our tops, so just need to get it cranking, basically.
It's a pretty big deal to do a full refurbishment for 4 weeks. I need the truck for work. I've given Steve a list of extras as long as your arm to go on this truck. So I'm hoping he's ticked all those boxes, otherwise he's going to be working there till late, making sure it's all done.
The reason we're cutting so fine is just Jon brought the deadline forward. Just trying to get everything done that he wants done to his standard in no time at all, so all hands on deck.
Worst case scenario is I don't like it and the boys have to go and repaint it.
Just on the final stretch, you know, last few parts to go on, the guys just waxing everything, cleaning everything, just make sure everything looks sweet. No last minute hidden surprises anywhere. It's done, they're looking good, Craig. We put a lot of effort and time into this thing, so if he gets here and he's not happy, we're not going to be very impressed.
On the excavator move, the MegaTruckers are back on the road after the flat tyre. The delays weigh heavily on first-time supervisor Keith.
We had to be on the ball all day. There was a lot of stopping and starting and very draining day.
Finally, the convoy arrives at the Copperbella coal mine, an hour before sunset.
Another successful mission completed. The digger's on site. The boys are putting it together as we speak.
I felt like I'd proved myself to Jon that we could do the job, and we got the job done in a very tight period. We didn't ring up yelling and screaming, so that's a fair indication that we got the job done without a hitch.
Didn't have any hiccups, so I hope Jon can recognise that and slowly move us up the ranks.
Wayne did really good. We congratulated him, shook his hand and said, yeah, good job, Wayne. That's his first time out with us.
It seems even the sparring partners are now at peace.
He pulled his head in and come done the job, and he done a good job.
In Brisbane, Jon's about to see the revamped vintage Mack dedicated to his late grandfather.
It's all ready to rock and roll, mate.
Really?
Yeah.
Hearts sort of in your mouth, like it's like, oh, is he going to like this or is he going to not like it?
Mate, I'd normally say it looks $1 million, but I reckon it looks $2 million. You've excelled yourself, mate.
You had me worried for a second. Jon loves the truck, so I'm just stoked.
Mate, I'm sure it never looked that good even when it was on the factory showroom floor.
No, that's for sure. Yeah, I'm really happy with the end result. It's turned out awesome. I'm surprised we've got it all done realistically.
Thanks, mate. Really appreciate it.
Cool.
Everyone believes in love at first sight. Well, that's what happened when I met Joanne, and the second time was when that truck was unveiled. In love with it from the bull bar to the rear taillight bar. The boys have done an absolutely ecstatic job, pretty emotional. It's definitely a fitting tribute. Couldn't be happier.
But there's one final twist in this love story.
To show how happy I am, I've actually quarantined the truck. It's not allowed to go to work for another couple of weeks. We've got a truck show coming up, and so hopefully the big breaker on its Virgin Truck Show gets to win a trophy. Until I can put one on the dash and say she's chalked up one, it'll stay in the shed, and I might even use it just as my company car to get to and from work.